I've been in the UN, now again in local government. But to begin with, I'm very happy to be here because I'm seeing my mentors. I did internship with this gentleman. Mr. Chemoy, I'm very happy to meet you here in a different capacity. I know my senior, like this man, Moro, is here, Mr. Wega, before Matea. And all of them, I'm happy I have OBs here, OGs. I want to say something very small, especially to the Institute. One, people have been saying it, but I want to say it in a very straight way. One is that the position of CPA qualification must be made clear in the formal education setup of the country. That means you have to do an engagement with the highest standard of education, is it? National Council of Higher Education. Let it be clear what is CPA standing in the formal education system of the institution. It is hanging. And it's a profession which is regulated by an act of parliament. But you don't know where it is. So that's why you find Uganda Matters University is having its own standard. Another university will look at it as a diploma. Another one will look at it as a certificate. So we need to make this very clear. So that once somebody has a CPA, if it is an equivalent of a degree, let it be a degree and nobody goes again to do a degree. If it is an equivalent of a master, let it be clear in the law what it is. And we have that body to do it. The second issue is whether accounting is science or arts. Unfortunately, when we started studying accounting, they define accounting as art and science, so they confuse us there. I was like, am I art or science? But when I look at, because I didn't make at A level, I was looking at the mathematics was purely science. But later now at master's level, we define science to be an experimental way of doing things based on well-defined theses and principles. So you see how we prepare a financial statement. Yes. There's no gambling. It is a standard way. Just like a doctor going to do an operation. You cannot miss a step and you feel you are going to operate successfully. Also try to prepare a financial statement and miss a step. Will it come? No. Have you ever slept in the office when one figure is not balanced? Because I missed out the science. So I think also that is back to the institute. The accounting profession should be clearly defined. If it is a hard, let it be clear that it's hard. Because also that definition of art and science confused me in the university. Now it has continued to confuse the whole country. So that is homework for you. Automatic promotion. This one is a mix of reaction. In my view, the qualified CPAs who are bosses here, we have work to do. When you have a colleague who has qualified, even if the person has not yet been formally appointed, give him the task which commensurate the knowledge and experience. Why do you become scared that, hey, it's going to replace me? Even a good leader must have a good successor. If he replaces you, it's also good. Hey, be replaced by a strong person and you are there. Eh? I forgot to tell you I am alive and I know it, so I'm very lively. Eh? So you will be feeling it. I know it. Some people are alive but they're not sure. Eh? So you'll find me a bit different because I'm very sure I'm alive. Eh? So give those people positions so that they can perform in those roles. Eh? Some people pray that I should be the only person, nobody should come close to me. Eh? No! When the good boss should not even do the work, it should be assigning. I have mentored my team, most of them are not qualified, but they are doing the work. I now have time. I stayed in Kampala for 1 week. I was online, say, hello, on that one, where are you? So you enjoy life if you have strong people. The other one is also you, the person. It starts with you. I have known of people who have the papers, but when it's come to doing the work, there is one without paper that's better than you. Eh? You have to match the practice to the theory. He's on your side. Don't become a, even, let me say, I want to tell people, when you're a father or you are a CFO, you never say that word. When you just say, Mr. Okay, you keep quiet. But let people see the difference between CFO and somebody who is not. Somebody who is senior and somebody who is not. So the honor is on you to do more, to prove that you're a CPA. When you're given work, you excel. Hey! It's not about just say, don't you know I'm CPA? Don't you know I'm the head of the family? Don't you know I'm the cow? Who doesn't know? We're not seeing it. Like me, I say I'm blind, I don't see it. Do it practically. But also the last one for you, do not be in a box. I told you I worked with international organizations. To based on but a few, CARE International, Goal Relief and Development Organization, Reproductive Health Uganda, which is affiliated to IPPA, which is an international plant pilot federation, like that. But I still left it. And I said, now this is the time, I'm reaching 40 years, I must now work in government. I need the money, but also I need the time. So that I don't have stress. That thing we sleep in the office, the money is good you're talking about. But you sleep in the office completely. And when you're affected by time zone, it is 5 here, to the Buzum is still 3. The Buzum say, hey James, we got to talk by close of business. But close of business is 9. I'm in the office at 9. In the night. Because we have a conference to talk about it. So I waited and said no, and I need time.
Thank you.
Okay, now what I'm saying is, do not say now I'm in government, I've arrived. If opportunities are not coming, the labor market is very open for us. Apply! Who say you must die there?
Thank you.
Apply! Go apply. Now finally, I want to end here.
Finally.
Sponsorship. Back to you. That pilot thing was good, eh? People have background of poverty, eh? When you said the government was sponsoring this course, if you work in government, you know the people who are enrolling were many. Why has it died? Can we lobby it? Can it continue? It died so fast, someone never benefited. But now, oh, we have position in government. This is the right time for us to lobby. The Speaker of Parliament is an accountant. And this is where laws are made, policies are made. Nandal Mafavi is an accountant. We have very many of them. So this is the time now which we can maximize our Harvest Institute. Please.
That's not it.
Finally.
Finally. Mr. Keo.
I'm just hoping. Finally. I want to demystify. Somebody said accountant are not risk takers. No, please. We are the greatest risk takers. Somebody who does the most difficult thing. You say he's not a risk taker? We are risk takers. Yeah? We are very serious risk takers. People who are still studying. My last word to you, I was telling my children, I have children who are now in secondary. I was telling them, if you want to be somebody, do something which is difficult. If you also want to be a run-around, do something which is also just a run-around. So we are risk takers. Do that difficult thing. It will help you in Jesus' name. Thank you.
I should make mention it. Number one, in the government, the problem we have now is one thing called experience. Experience has no school, and the local government setting now in a council, in account cadres, we have the experienced people without the qualification. We have the inexperienced people with the qualification. And then, in those situations, you can't jump somebody, 8 of you. When it comes to recruitment, it is very clear that aids of account, finance, and internal audit in the government or private sector, public interest, must be a qualified accountant. You are there, you are an accountant at U4. You have senior accountant at U3, who is not a member. You have the boss maybe up there, who is not a member. If they advertise, they say they need 2 years experience at U2 before you can become the head. 3 years. No. How are we going to get the 3 years when you are now locked up here in U4? Maybe it's to open a school of experience so that we can go and study, get that experience, so that we can also be what? Employed at U2 or at U1. I myself wrote a letter to the PS, Ministry of Public Service, to waive off experience. I even copied the institute. I have a copy up to now. I have my own copy. The PS wrote back to me saying I should route my letter through the town clerk. The town clerk refused to sign the letter. So I left it there. So it's upon the institute now. What is the institute doing to this effect? You find, okay, maybe a position even of an accountant at U4, it is advertised, you are qualified, you are shortlisted. The person interviewing you is not a CPA. You are a CPA. He's really biased against you. He's really has a biased mind against you who is a CPA. And they're the one doing the recruitment. Now, how can they, in the first place, they fear you? Because they see as you are going to take up their positions because of the qualification. So they are doing everything within their means to frustrate the CPAs at whatever level. So the institute should at least come up.
I think he has noted.
Yeah, to take care of to play our space. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
All protocols up. Mine is just one issue. It is not among all these that people have raised. I've been associating with very many other different professions. You find that they have their anthem. But for the accountants, I've not heard about it. I don't know whether it's there or people are not practicing. Maybe that's the umbrella that might even bring us together and make us visible. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have an anthem at the institute level. We shall be guided, and if it is there, that is what we can adopt, or as a network. But if it is not there, then we shall go to class and develop one. Members, I want to thank you so much for the issues you have raised. Majorly, you've raised issues. You've come up with ideas which are should be taken up by the institute. We shall listen to our seniors here. But I want to just say something about the students, the trainings. Members, I think we have said it ourselves. We have mentioned these issues ourselves. Issues of attitude, issues of holding ourselves back. I know of our colleagues who came together with the interest of helping our students. They are here. CPA Martin is here. CPA Philip, where is Philip?
Philip is there.
And their colleagues. They have been training people in the Holy Rosary. But because of attitude, these people, I think, are now they are now no more. Because when you call the students to come together, 3, 4, they can't form a class. But I'm very glad to hear from the students' representative today that we have over 400 students. But I know very many who have defected and gone back to the universities. Very many, including my own staff. I want to say I want to buy the idea of the students' representative that now that we have been given some kisanja for months before we go to the next AGM, CPA Simon is we shall, within this period, we should, the most urgent issue is to have a students' meeting. Let's have a students' meeting and forge a way how to go forward from here. We first start from the challenges. I don't know if UMI is now going up to level 3, 4, level, I don't know. They were stopping at level 2, I think. And that was also a very big challenge. Because the biggest challenge UMI has also is the number of students. I remember the coordinator was complaining that you find they could not go to other levels because the student numbers were, you find 1, 2, and then even the lower levels, there are not many. And for them to, you know, this thing, at times they look at it, when it is not cost effective, they also, there's that cost benefit analysis of everything you do. And that is how I think those of Martin also left the teaching. Because you cannot be in a class with 2 people. So the issue of attitude is killing us, my colleagues. The issue that, how can Philip teach me? These are people who have, many students have passed through these hands. They have passed. We have the brains, but if you don't change the attitude, that is why even some of us are really saying, what is it that the students want? But we are going to give it another try. We are going to give it another try. We are going to hold meetings with the students, and in these meetings, I want to call all the CPAs within the region also to attend, so that we also try to assess our capabilities. Which of the whatever. We are not good at everything. Somebody might be advanced, So if we can put these brains together, we go back to the drawing board and see what we can do for our students. This is all about to reduce cost of traveling to Kampala. And then it is easier for you to talk to somebody whom you know, and somebody explains to you in a simple term or simple language, and then you understand in class. This is the only thing I want to say, because most of the issues you have to raise them to the institute, and I want to give them a chance to say something to us before we go for our lunch. So we break for lunch. Let's give our big opportunity to the institute to reply or have a word of reply to the issues we have raised. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to start by requesting, please let us not go the sad direction and name it, because I realize I am here in about 4 capacities. I'm here in the first capacity that I'm very proud of being a pioneer CPA Uganda student. I have had the frustrations, the passion from those who have not yet qualified, and those who have qualified, and those who might on Monday be almost the anxieties. And as I was listening to all of that, I am reminded of August 1997, when I registered to be a student of CPA Uganda. My student registration number was, or remains, number 28. I was in the first batch. So some of the challenges that we're speaking about here were bigger challenges back then. But as we evolve, we have done what? We have managed to overcome some of them. Another capacity that I'm here in is as a member of the institute. I am proud to have joined membership the moment I qualified in 2005. And ever since I joined as a member, there's one thing that the then CEO, the late Pius Babimuka, insisted to me and us that the institute is not this building. The institute is us. The institute is the collection of the human beings that subscribe to that profession and have opted to either prepare to be regulated by becoming students, or are transitioning from being a student to full membership, those that are associate members, or those that have done what? Have decided to be regulated by applying, because we are not forced, I'm looking for that word, we are not conscripted into membership. Membership is a decision. So the challenges that we are saying the institute should do this, the institute should do this, they are our challenges as members. The third capacity that I am herein as is I chair the Member Services Committee, of which I have proudly been a member even before I became chair. For now, this is the 7th year. And Member Services Committee's primary obligation is to support the council in ensuring that the institute, as a member-based body, works in the interests of its members while executing its mandate. So it's my duty, therefore, to receive all this feedback. I'm not calling them complaints. It is feedback that we have a duty as your voice, Member Services Committee, to speak about. I mean, to bring to the attention of the executive and the council to ensure they are resolved. The fourth capacity, which is twice, I am also here as a council member and the current vice president of the institute. And thank you very much, members, for entrusting me and our colleagues to serve the institute. And we commit to serve diligently. So, something I was happy about, because when we were signing attendance, I made sure I stand in the line so that I also sign the attendance book, was to see whether we hold what we are with pride. I was waiting to see if we were signing as CPA so-and-so, CPA so-and-so. I noticed everyone was signing their individual names without the what? The title. I also opted not to do that. But I was waiting to see in the interaction what happens. And I was very happy and proud to hear colleagues that have qualified and got membership say, I am CPA so-and-so. And those that are still students to proudly say, I am a student, meaning we're valuing the profession, which is the first issue that is very important. The CPA title is a statutory right. To use the title CPA Ronald Mutumba is a right that has been given to me by the Accountants Act. So I shall always use it with pride. Eh? And I pray that we also always use it with pride. So, I noticed in the program there is a segment. I hope it is still there. So, there are some matters that have been prepared for that segment. I will leave those to that. And first attend to responses to issues that were raised. There was a suggestion from Samuel that members work together to support others to complete the CPA. Thank you very much, Simon. My experience as a student in 1997, 98, 99, Simon is my witness here. We didn't have lecturers. The situation you are in northern Uganda right now is almost the situation we had also at the center, because the course was what? Was new. When you would attempt to go to a class, to the training institutions that were there at the time, you will find that in the same class where they are teaching financial reporting, there are students of CPA, CPA Kenya, CPA Uganda, CPA Kenya, KATC, yeah, SCCA. Then there was that technician's course for ATC Uganda, not yet come on, the one for CAT, CAT. And all of you will be banned in the same class. And sometimes the person who is teaching you has either just recently completed it, or might not be telling you that he has not yet passed it. Someone mentioned it here, I don't know. So it is a healthy proposal, Samuel. Going to Kampala might not add a lot of what? Value. But within the student community itself, first coming together and having those discussions. Out of those discussions, some of you might even be able to identify that you have the skill to become a lecturer. That's how some of us became what? Lecturers. Because I started teaching CPA in 2003 and specialized in areas where I started as a discussant for my colleagues. So I think that one for combining efforts. Now, CPA Simon says, Institute should take on the responsibility of setting up the regional offices and also interface with the network to have a work plan and the budget be funded by Institute. And then the Institute should take on the monitoring and evaluation. We will discuss in the afternoon later the issues of the regional networks. But the concept of the regional networks is now about 4 or 5 years old. But, and there's a lot to learn. When we rolled out, by then I was not a council member, but I was part of the committees to which this came out. when we rolled out the concept of the regional networks, first the focus was how do we get into the regions to enable geographical spread of interaction, networking, and service delivery. But while pursuing that, the biggest challenge that we have and we continue to have is, yes, the regional networks need funding. But the question is, how do you fund the regional networks? Now, we have got an institutional challenge. The Institute is a member-based organization. The sources of funds are from members, either as students whose funds are for them to sit exams and finally qualify. Do you move those funds into other activities? Is a question to deal with financial management. The second source of funds, member subscriptions. Someone said we pay 500,000 every year. The issue is, these are member funds. What can they be used for? What can they not be used for? Also taking into consideration institutional sustainability, because the institute is expected to stay around. Now, also talking about the member funds, the other issue to deal with that is this. We had a running challenge with the tax policy of the country regarding, for some time, regarding our income tax position. Because of how we were intending or actually generating revenues at one point, we were in the perception of some centers of authority, we were not qualifying to be an entity that should be tax exempt because of how our funds were being collected and also utilized. It was a lot of advocacy that eventually got the institute to be a tax exempt entity to ensure that the funds we collect from members, a portion of it doesn't end up being paid as income tax. One of the key conditions that was given to get tax exemption was the funds of the institute should never be used in the interests, personal interests of individuals. I don't know whether I've spelled the close section. There is a section that what we collect from new members or from anywhere else, it should not be used for personal gain. Now, personal gain is a very clear word, clause. One of the issues for discussion in those review processes, how do you support the regional networks in executing the mandates in their constitution? We don't have a new leadership yet. We have a very good problem. The current leadership cannot go away for we work hand in hand on this. What will be important for us to achieve, therefore, in the current leadership is two things. One, effective leadership, effective existence of the regional network, effective leadership. And the effective leadership can only be seen in the deliverables. So, one of the key requirements of the regional network is the submit your work plans. and let the work plans, you will definitely be guided. Let the work plans speak into the strategic what? Plans. So that to the extent that the regional network is actually executing the mandate of the center, yeah, then there is justification for what? For support. Yeah? That is what is going to be very important. And the regional networks we still have are not what were desired. Originally was intended to have, was it 16? 12 networks. So it means we still have a baby. Eh? And we can only roll out, when I say we, I mean all of us. Eh? We can only roll out other networks based on the success of the existing ones. So on that one, I pledge my word. When I go back to member services, when I go back to council, my feedback is we need to make sure we have a viable solution that protects the profession, the institute, me and you, yeah? And also helps us grow individually. CPA job says, this was an interesting one, job, because it is something I also ask, or used to ask. Amongst what you said, membership in good standing, we pay 500,000. Are we paying for calendars? Is it worth it to spend 500 and only get what? A calendar. How do we create value for members? It's been a long journey we have traveled in trying to answer this question. And the value proposition, I don't want to say that we can define it now. Every year, every period, we add something to it. Previously, the first value proposition was, does it differentiate you from others if you're going to be known to be a what? A CPA. And we invested a lot of effort. Personally, I have lived a life ever since I got out of National College of Business Studies at diploma level. The life of CPA is my what? My colleague. We worked on the brand. We worked on advocacy of the value of being known to be a what? A CPA. Back then you would find in adverts for jobs, even in private sector, they are saying must be a holder of a first degree, and CPA is an added advantage. At least we succeeded in turning that around. The other side, these days is
Either or.
in some places we have moved out of either or. Must be. Yeah? In some, must be, have an accountancy qualification, CPA. Others we have must be a member. Yeah. So it is a journey we are moving at. Sometimes at individual level we are not able to feel that what? That value. But it is a tough one. The other one, that the value that members we get, someone mentioned, I think it was, your name was very interesting, I had. Okemo, I think it is pronounced Okemo. You mentioned something about it is one thing having the paper, yeah? And another thing demonstrating that you have the what? The skill. Value proposition again that we give members. Post-qualification, you need to get the what? The skills. Many times, these workshops, these CPD functions, are targeted to give you a certain skill or knowledge base that you don't get in what? In class. Those of us in private practice, who are in employment and you end up in private practice, you would realize that you have opened up an audit firm, an accounting firm, but you have never filed a tax what? Return.
In practice.
And the last time there was a tax management seminar, you did not consider it what? Important. You call a colleague for support, then he tells you, but that was dealt with in what? So other value that is that as part of your leadership, all the people who are serving you that we are trying to do, is to see how can we generate for ourselves, me and you, additional training that can help position us better as professionals. I'll name for you a must attend upcoming seminar, the Public Financial Management Forum. The date has not yet been confirmed, but it is less than 12 months away. That one is targeting those in public financial management. And it can help answer the question of where do I learn experience from? Because it offers you two things, network and updates in specific areas. So, Job, we continue to want to make sure we work together and see how we can create value for one another, the benefit of being a CPA. I'm going to share very briefly a personal story. I've had the opportunity of having been teaching since 2003, that's 20 years, of so many people I have interacted with. A young lady called me from the US and told me, Mutu, thank you very much. Thank you very much for guiding me when you were my lecturer and insisting that I don't do the other course that they already say is international. Insisting I do what? CPA Uganda. I said, why? She said, and I said, told her, look, but I've not heard from you in a long time. Where have you been? And she tells me, I've been in the US now for about 5 years. The US doing what? The last time I heard of you, you are working in one of the big 4 firms. What are you doing in the US? Oh, along the way, what happened is my grandma was involved in an accident. Then family decided we need to take her to the US for treatment. Then they decided I should go with her. Then we got into the US. Now the next, when we were there, the next challenge is what can I do? Then I said I'm a CPA, where I've been experiencing this. Then someone popped up an idea and said, hey, you're a CPA. Let's see if we can get you what to do. They tried placing her, and where they tried placing her, they said, your qualification, all you need to do is write to your mother what? Body. And request for what? A recommendation, validation and recommendation of your certification. And to make the route easier, since you are between Bermuda and USA, originate the request from where? Bermuda, so that you first get membership of the Bermuda accountancy, which is direct the other side you'll have before you take it. And that's what she did. And now, she earns 6-digit US dollar salaries. Because she chose CPA over SCCA. I'm telling you, you can somersault 10 times in the USA to get a placement using that what? Other qualification. So there is a lot of intangible value that sometimes you can't distribute it unless you do what? You realize it. Until the opportunity does what? Pops up. CPA Nyero Pascal, our chairperson, says, issue of motivation at work. I think this is where the emphasis on the discussion of remuneration starts from. That went on and on, and it has been around for some time. And also the relevance of the CPA, and it's being compared to other qualifications. I choose my words carefully, not to other academic qualifications, but other qualifications. Because some of the qualifications that the CPA is being compared to are purely academic. You're not comparing like with like. So I will start with the one that is burning, the remuneration part of it. I'll first start with the fact that we must deal with when you are a public servant, your remuneration is determined and standardized based on public service regulations. That is the first one, standard. And two, permit me to say this, it's a reality that we must appreciate. We will never use it, at least for as part of service. We don't use it as an excuse. But it is a challenge when we go to serve in your interest that we must deal with. Unfortunately, ICPA is a statutory body and not designed in any way to have the opportunity of being a labor union. In our mandate, it is very, very difficult to start demanding for what? Pay for our members. Because we have members in private practice where the forces of demand and supply will do what? Dictate. We have members in employment whose reward will be based on the employment contracts that they have signed with their employers. And we have members in public service, both central and local, whose remuneration is dictated upon by the public service rules and regulations. But what have we done about this? In spite of the existence of that challenge, and this has been going on for more than 5 years, and it is something that the new council tabled and said we must continue with this. There has been advocacy with the Public Service Commission on the issue of the reward system for, in respect to professional accountants, because they are very delicate to the financial sustainability of the country, the economy. So forget about this discussion of scientists, artists, but like someone mentioned here, when we go the rudimentary direction, the state will what? Will suffer. I pray we never have to do that. So, the advocacy is ongoing, the meetings continue. The advocacy is both at political level and also technical. The CEO is part of some of the structures that are reviewing these issues. The unfortunate reality, issues of government are not resolved in months. It's a journey that we will continue to pursue with the expectation that we will definitely reach a logical conclusion. And that will also dictate the outcome of those negotiations, and that advocacy will dictate what happens both for public service at the center and also in local governments. About comparability of the qualification, the CPA and other qualifications. For those on the network WhatsApp group, Simon just shared a document a few minutes back. I would request of you to kindly open that document. My expectation is at Cactus Hotel we have Wi-Fi. Whether personal or that document that Simon has shared is the Uganda Accountancy Qualification Framework. The Uganda Accountancy Qualification Framework was developed in conjunction with the National Council of Higher Education. I also attended myself, I will speak, I attended the validation, not as a council member, but a CPA lecturer. And the purpose was to review what do we train accountants for, the skill they have, and how do the other qualifications compared to what we have trained our accountants for. So, for starters, and I want again to choose my words very carefully, we're going to do a cross approach comparison. When you compare our CPA qualification to the other qualifications, the minimum level it is at is a postgraduate.
What?
A postgraduate qualification. That's why I've said minimum qualification. For most, if you look at the qualification, the document itself, for most it will be a postgraduate diploma. And technically that is because we don't train research what? Skills. Yeah. So, in meaning, when you have your CPA, you have at least one issue you are beyond is the first degree. You should never have that what? Discussion. There is absolutely no reason why after your CPA you should be looking for a first degree. And I'm saying this with a practical example, which is myself. My personal qualification is a diploma in catering and a diploma in business studies. Then a CPA. After my CPA, I applied and was admitted for an MBA at Uganda Matters University in Nkozi before this. Whereafter, I pursued also my CTA, and whereafter right now, I'm pursuing my PhD. So the first degree has never been, for me, it has never been on the radar ever since I finished my what? My CPA. But by then we didn't have the framework. Now we have the framework. Then how do the other qualifications compare into the CPA? The framework defines case by case. But we'll mainly speak about qualifications that are also related to what we do at teach. You'll not want to start comparing a Bachelor of Science in medicine, human medicine, to the CPA. To not be like with like. Where are we in regards to the Uganda Accountancy Qualifications Framework? The feedback you are giving me and Simon to take back to the center is we have a very big task upon us to enhance communication and create awareness about the UAQF. Because if our own members don't have the awareness yet, then the others who don't have it will obviously not know. So it is something we're going to take on. What was slowing down the awareness journey was the qualification framework had not yet been gazetted. But it was now finally gazetted. So it is now a public document. So we are going to make sure we go back together with the Member Services Committee. We will work on this as one of the key areas that needs urgent attention. And it will sort out. Then, Philip, I have so many. Oh, they're almost done. Philip raises something of government jobs. What are the qualification requirements? Is a bachelor's degree better than a CPA? And government takes interest in only degrees. What is the institute doing about this? I think this has been what? Answered. Yeah? Uganda Accountancy Qualification Framework. Create awareness, we create awareness together, and to engage implementers. So it means the perception of also those who take decisions in government also is going to have to be what? Worked upon. Michael says qualifying for the CPA is extremely difficult. But unfortunately, we have non-qualified persons holding positions that they should not be holding, and this should have been held by qualified CPAs. Yes, it is a very big issue. It's a big issue in 3 segments that we should be in. One, I'll start with selfish-interested, so that I can call out to you. Signing of these by non-accountants is not only in government, but also in the private sector, where we have non-licensed firms, audit firms, and what we call quack accountants, signing financial reports and saying these are audited financial statements. We need to reclaim together our space and push them out. And the only way we can do them, for example, in Acholi subregion, is those that can set up and operate and run accountancy practices to please do it. Some of us, the hands might be tight because of some regulations. So as we travel the advocacy journey, those that can, we start on that. Then, in the public sector, 2 categories, central government and local government. The Accountants Act again. In central government, working hand in hand with the Ministry of Finance, the implementation status is over 85%. The last that we tried to think from statistics. The last feedback we are giving. The Ministry of Finance has been very supportive in ensuring that government agencies, ministries, departments and agencies make sure that CPAs are the ones in the position they should be in. And in those entities of public interest, those that are listed, for example, all insurance companies, all banks, again the effort has been there, and most of them have found that it is very difficult to fight the what? The law, or not to comply with the law. On this journey, the request is this. The Institute cannot play an investigative role. We need the support of all and sundry to help identify that the 15% that is not yet implemented is so and so. And then follow-up can be done. Local government, the advocacy has also been taken to local government. There I don't have the statistic yet. But what I know, also the implementation is ongoing. But local government presents bigger challenges than central government. Central government was Ministry of Finance. Local government is Ministry of Local Government, District Service Commissions, and then you roll on up to the what? Sub-county? Up to the sub-county. So that journey, the kind of vehicle you need to drive is different. But again, we have offered ourselves to serve, and to serve in the interests of the profession. There are no two ways about it, because this is not about only me. I traveled with my son, is only 8 years old, but every time there is a CPA function out of Kampala and is not at school, he says, "Daddy, we must go together because I must become an accountant." Wow. So meaning I must prepare the space for him. Succession planning. So I shouldn't prepare a garden full of stones. Yeah. So that is the journey on that. Michael, morale boosting trainers to improve on the quality. Again, this one I find it an interesting one that I think I have 2 cents, because I'm a trainer also. Ladit there was in my class, and they would come to Kampala and come looking for us personally, because I was teaching at MAT, but eventually I moved out of math and said, no, let me go where I can attend to the individual interests or individual needs of students. Because some students can't study during the week, others believe they have to study during the weekend. It can only be on Saturday afternoon because it's traveling Saturday morning. How do we morale boost trainers? How can the institute support on this? The institute has first done one thing. As you come to Kampala, those of you who are students, when you make the choice to go to Kampala or wherever you go, please first check the website, ICPA website. There is a list of accredited tuition providers. That will first save you the risk of running into those that cannot give you what you have expensively come to do what? To search for. Now, in the last engagement we had with the Secretariat, when I said us in this case is tuition providers, we had an engagement prior to the August exams, but after the release of the May results. We had an engagement to speak to one another. And we were saying, I think the direction we should also go is go beyond accrediting just the institution. Because when you accredit the institution, you are accrediting the business enterprise. The question now is, accredit them on what basis? What is the criteria of saying this person is good enough? So, the proposals, in summary, is we should have a training regimen, a training of trainers regimen for those who are going to offer those services so that they are accredited and they have adequate skills. When that happens, it should open a certain window that Odomhara can, having completed his CPA, can go and attend that training so that he can come back and speak with confidence in this Acholi subregion that I am available to train in this what? Subject, which will reduce on the issue of perception. And for him to remain on the accreditation list, there is now where they can be reviewed from a mechanism. What is the feedback from the students? But also, within the region, some approaches that can be taken. Myself, there is a time when I used to travel to a certain region every Friday evening to go and teach. I was in full-time employment, working in a private company, one of the biggest companies, where you must be in office Monday to Friday. Sometimes you actually sleep in office, yes, finalizing what? Month-end reports. But come Friday evening, board the bus, so that I'm teaching Saturday to morning. Along the way, it became so hectic, and I stopped going there for the institution. But what happened now is, because of the reputation that I left there, students and those who had completed would make arrangements and say, during the month of October, we are requesting we make a plan to have 3 days of your time to deal with what is subject or these areas. It cuts down your costs instead of 10 of you having to drive to here. But it also helps you to also sort out the issue that the chairperson mentioned, critical mass numbers. Someone having to be in a class when there is only one or what? 2 persons. So, this is now not official response, but just experience of someone who has been there. The network amongst our mandates is to ease the journey of the students. Come up with something of the sort, like you have said, and where there are areas that need expertise, you can arrange the workshop. When I was still a student, for us, we had one advantage during those challenges. Because there were a few members the CPD workshops that would be arranged would be CPD workshops that would take care of both the student and the member. Yeah? Now the numbers are so big that achieving it to give value to the students might be challenging. But if it is driven by the network and a student workshop to deal with key areas in advanced financial management is scheduled for 2 days. I mean, that way, the value will be what? Coming, and the morale should be boosted. I think I have around 3. CPM worker raises a complaint to the institute. In the field of medical, a doctor is allowed to operate his clinic just like lawyers. CPAs in civil service should be allowed to open their own firms. This is a position, this is now what my response would be. The Accountants Act does not stop you, but it is your employment contract that might be limiting you. I'm choosing my words carefully. I've not addressed myself to the public service regulations. The ones I know who can't run audit firms are all government employees. Right, the ones I knew that would have those challenges used to be like URA officers. Where there is conflict. So, again, our duty is collect this feedback and go and interrogate it and see what can be done about it. And be sure I'm taking back this feedback. Yeah. But I'm not promising a solution, because there might be unseen brick walls. Then, Willie Opoka says, why aren't other universities given the collaboration that we have with Uganda Matters University, where Uganda Matters University is offering a degree course? Beg your pardon? In 1 year, to join? If
you study for 1 year, then they award you a first degree.
But you must have a certain level of what? CPA. You must have completed CPA. But it is also the other way around. Uganda Matters University, for that degree, there are some subjects, which were the ones?
They do level 1. Then their students start on level 2 while they are still at university.
So they do level 1 of CPA and start on our level.
Their degree.
Via their degree.
Yeah.
So their degree that degree course has been structured to speak into the CPA. Yeah. Now, with the other universities, it is a collaboration journey. And the beauty that we now have is the accountancy qualifications framework, which also does something else that is very important, because this is a framework in collaboration with the National Council of Higher Education that is saying training of accountants in the country is a statutory mandate of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. So if you are offering a degree course that is saying anything accountancy, you're going to have to work with what? ICPA. That is the importance of the Uganda Accountancy Qualification Framework. It's going to give us the opportunity. I don't want to use the word compel, but it's going to give us the opportunity to get us to work, to collaborate with these universities. And it is something that is long overdue. But when you say that, you also need to remember that the main source of revenue for the universities is student what? Tuition, and numbers. So are they happy losing students to CPA? No. So all the collaboration now must take care of all those what? Issues.
I don't know, maybe just sorry, it's finalizing. On that one, since also it was repeated. You know, we have laws.
Getting an act of parliament passed is not a piece of cake. It is a long journey. It is not even half cake. It is a stone that you are going to have to chew. So, the first win was the first act, which was then amended in 2013. The amendments did not give us all the desired changes back then. But sometimes you first take what you have before you start what? Complaining for more. Right now, we have a number of other amendments that were submitted to Parliament through its structures that are meant to cure some of these what? Deficiencies. We can't have all of them at the same what? Time.
But the time is now, because even Musasizi is also a CPA.
And we continue to use if you notice, for the last 2 or 3 years, Honorable Musasizi has attended many of our what? Workshops. So we use every lobby, every advocacy opportunity. We are using it. And if you know any other channel that we can use, please always do what? Drop Simon a WhatsApp. That how about also taking this route? For me, I say this as a passion, because my bread and butter is from the accountancy profession, and I am not going back into employment. So it is very important that it is what? It is providing space. Yeah, it is working, and it is working for everyone. So there was something about status of sponsorship to join CPA.
Yeah, it used to run in government, and that's the kind of lobby which should continue.
Okay, that was a project. It was project at rollout, because it was obvious the numbers of accountants were few and government did not have what? Professional accountants. So yes, the feedback is taken, but with the coffers of the central government.
We also need the sustainability plan, because a good project must have that.
In the Ministry of Finance, they are still financing all agencies and ministry staff. They only stopped in local government.
That's why I have said that the feedback, I don't have the facts on that, but the feedback is what? Is received, taken, and go back. That's why you see I'm pointing at Simon, Secretariat. We attend to this and it comes back. Yeah. Sponsorship, I've spoken about it. Registration.
Others can we shall continue engaging.
The last one was Anthem.
That was the last.
This was the last one. This idea of an anthem was picked up long time back, Secretariat. Actually, Secretariat even received a proposal from a potential composer of the anthem. So, what needs to be done is to go back and we have the conversation with Secretariat and say, where are we on this? However, Madam Chairperson, my humble request, please don't compose and start using your own version of the anthem, because then it could give friction. It could set a precedent where every region, every college has got its own what? Anthem. You can propose to say Acholi subregion regional network is proposing to compose an anthem for the profession.
Profession, yeah.
And it is sent there. And it is brought to the center. And it is put on table. And it is validated. So, as we wrap up on this, I will say something. Next week.
Mr. Mutombo, kindly.
James, hold on, let him complete first.
No, he's going to conclude.
We are actually running bad on
I
time.
know, just one thing. You don't want this to miss in the back. I'm very sorry. There is also this point of advocating for accountant to take up the leadership position, CEO position. Because the best CEO we have had.
Thinking on the same wavelength. But again, a message I'm picking. We are going to work together with Secretary to enhance our communication and awareness of developments within the institute. Early this year, not early, I think it was about May or June, we had an event. The event was called CFO C-Suite Forum. We have an event that is designed, it has been revamped this year, and it is designed to continue every year. C-Suite Forum, meaning it is an event that whose attendance is those in the C, CFO, CEO, chief this, chief that, chief this one, to bring them to table. First, for networking. Two, to speak about issues pertinent to both enterprises, government, and the profession. And also three, out of the C-suite forum, there is a critical component that should be an output. Transfer of skills and knowledge. The C-suite forum should be able to also be a pseudo academy, so that your attendance in the C-suites, 2 or 3 of them, and the feedback you bring back to your employer shows that you are actually thinking strategically and not operationally. So it's high time you are growing into what? Strategic positions. So we held one. So when we called the next one, and the one we held, the invitations again went out to both public sector and private sector. So that is another of those developments. So I'm seeing one of the challenges we have, which is why we need the regional networks. Because it is one thing, these developments, to be on social media platforms and the newspapers and the radio, when the members themselves are not what? Receiving them and digesting them. So these are things we can digest. So I think I lost out on the one I wanted to. But we had already spoken about. Oh, I have remembered. Next week, on the 20th, from 20th to 22nd, we have got the annual seminar in Kampala. But we shall talk about events in Kampala and in Kampala in the afternoon. But on Friday, at the end of the annual seminar, we have the Accountancy Service Awards. And one of the awards is Regional Network of the Year. I hope Acholi subregion was nominated. Yeah? And some of the issues that can make a network a winner, could be such initiatives, that this network composed the what? The anthem that we have on table. Because that is value addition to the profession. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman in charge of time management is by my side. And it is beyond the hour of blood sugar problems. I request that we leave this at this. And later in the afternoon, we can continue to interact. Please. Thank you very much.
As the moderator said, I will highlight the constitution of the CPA regional network. And I want to put emphasis on sections and paragraphs which will prepare us for next election. Right away, The first item I've considered is the name. That's item 2 under interpretation. Sorry, item 2 under Constitution of CPA Uganda Regional Members Network. You have the copy. Name and Constitution. The organization stroke committees shall be called the CPA Uganda Regional Network, and each region shall be organized in accordance with this constitution, and naming the region network as CPA Uganda as name of the region. Example, CPA Uganda Mbale region. That's how we came up with the CPA Acholi regional network. Duration. The duration of the organization shall be indefinite. Under definition, I'm considering ICPAU, which members have to know, and the student. This is enshrined within the Act Cap 266. Annual General Meeting means the annual general meeting of the regional members network held in accordance with this constitution. The similar meeting we are holding now, and which we will again hold as we elect the new office bearers. Under definition still, chairperson means a regional committee member duly appointed as chairperson in line with this constitution. Region means any geographical demarcation cited by ICPAU as forming a region to advance the mandate of the institute. Regional network means all ICPAU members who work in the region, reside within the region, or hail from the region as registered with the institute. Regional network member means a member of the regional network. In quotation, office bearers means the regional committee. Regional committee means the committee of the regional network duly elected in accordance with this constitution. Regional member means a member entitled to vote to any election for council membership and work in the region, resides within the region, or hails from the region. Student means a student registered with ICPAU and includes graduates of ICPAU who are not yet members. Student society means a student society as might be constituted by the regional committee in collaboration with ICPAU Secretariat. Vice chairperson means a regional committee member duly appointed as vice chairperson in line with this constitution. The chairperson for the regional network highlighted the objectives of the CPA Regional Members Network. We need to go and read this section further so that as we prepare for the election, we know exactly how the objectives of the regional network. The roles of regional members network. This is now section 6. To support the institute to A, implement ICPAU strategies and policies in Uganda. B, provide advice and secretarial support to the regional members. And C, handle, in collaboration with the Secretariat, the day-to-day affairs and activities of the regional network. Section 7, meeting location. Meeting of the regional network and the regional committee shall be held at a place agreed upon by the office bearers in consultation with the Institute Secretariat. That means we may hold it in any of the locations within the region as determined by the office bearers. Members of the regional committee, I request members to, the participants to go and read about that. It's also important for the forthcoming function, election of the new office bearers. The president of ICPAU and or ICPAU staff designated by the president shall attend meetings of the regional committee in a non-voting capacity. Some members may be surprised to see the vice president and his colleague. They are actually permitted, they are allowed within the constitutional framework. And I believe, even as we elect the new office bearers, they're still with us. Section 9, election stroke retirement, re-election to the regional committee. First paragraph. 2 or more regional network members may nominate a regional network member for election to the regional committee at the annual general meeting. Each nomination shall be in writing, specifying the name of the candidate and signed by the members making the nomination. A consent note signed by the candidate of his willingness to be elected a member of the regional committee must be appended on all nomination forms. We have not yet done this, so let's take note and we'll go through this process. Second paragraph. All nominations made in accordance with clause 9.1 shall be delivered to the chief executive and stroke or ICPA staff designated for that role at least 40 days before the annual general meeting, and the chief executive and stroke or ICPA staff designated for that role shall notify regional network members of all nominations received at least 25 days before the annual general meeting. Next paragraph. A regional committee member who has served for 4 consecutive years, excluding the period during which he has been appointed to fill up a casual vacancy, shall retire, but shall be eligible for re-election after a minimum period of 2 years, provided, however, that if a regional committee member is an office bearer at the expiry of this 4-year period, that regional committee member may continue to serve on the regional committee until the period of his office has expired. For the avoidance of doubt, this means that the maximum consecutive period any regional network member may serve on the regional committee is 8 years. The next paragraph. The regional committee shall appoint 3 members to serve on the regional network committee. Such appointees shall retire together with the elected members. Under proceedings of the regional committee, I want to consider the third paragraph about quorum. A quorum at meetings of the regional committee shall be 3 elected regional committee members. The members shall elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson from among themselves. At all meetings of the regional committee, the vice chairperson shall take the chair when the chairperson is unable to do so. In the absence of both, a regional committee member shall be elected from among those present to preside over the meeting. So as we think about these members, we need to look at those who will have such capacities to execute the mandate of the region. I thank you for listening.
He has been brief. I think the most essential and most important parts for today's meeting. As I earlier stated, we shall have CPA on assignment from the Institute to highlight the element of elections. Someone was asking, are we electing today? He will answer that question. Thank you. CPA Simon, you must
like he did state, elections are held at the annual general meeting. That will be the general elections. Now, the annual general meeting is held in the new year in the first quarter of the year. And in that case, our annual general meeting has to be held by 31st of March in the new year. Okay? Which is, what we are holding now is an extraordinary general meeting to keep ourselves up to date. So the executive committee held a meeting yesterday, discussed, and they agreed on holding the annual general meeting on the 24th of February 2024. And it is at that meeting that we shall have elections. Is it clear to all of us? But, Simon has taken us through the timelines. 45 days, then 25 days for the secretary of the institute to communicate those who have been nominated so that members can prepare to elect them. And we are very grateful that the current executive committee accepted to continue serving so that we work within the constitution. Yeah. But let us continue enjoying ourselves and the sharing, then we shall come and elect. Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. We still want you to continue serving us. I think everything is clear.
CPA Uganda Daniel was also nominated, seconded by Nyamsika, and we had CPA Angela, seconded by Job. These are the three members that we have. At this point, I think these people are able to select to get their chairperson.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations, members. And we pledge our election in your hands. The EC team, we are sure, is going to be free and fair. Thank you.
Independent.
Very independent. Members, we are moving at the speed of, something. We are moving very fast. As per our agenda, we want to move to item number 14 because we want to close. Madam Chair, we are moving to item number 14 on our list. Remarks from a representative from the institute. So, at this point in time, I request you to invite the institute to give their remark. Thank you.
Not Mutumba. It is Mutumba, not Mutumba. If it wasn't for geographical reasons, going back home, I should have gone via Lida and then Soroti so that I can go to Namutumba. The Mutumba has come from this side of the Baganda. Yes, that is for emphasis. But also, I would like to thank members for the good lunch. The bueno was very good. Bueno is not every day that we eat. Nacho bueno. And I have a few remarks that I'll make on behalf of the council and our president, and therefore on behalf of the institute. But first and foremost, I take this opportunity to applaud the Acholi subregion network and its executive for the commitment to grow the profession. And also to you members, we keep joking in our Rotary meetings. I'm a Rotarian, Simon is a Rotarian. As Rotarians, we tend to always upload ourselves and say, we are the only group of people who pay our money to serve. And we keep joking and saying, no, it's not only the Rotarians, even as accountants, we spend our money to serve others. And today is an example. All members here, I'm advised, and I can also believe it without needing advice, you have spent your own resources to come and attend this special meeting. And you are coming here to serve the interests of the profession. That alone is a very big contribution, and I request us to the Acholi subregional network, like the other networks, has not been able to take the journey it set out to take in July 2019, when our President CPA Uganda attended that meeting, and we acknowledge the disruptions as clearly spelled out in the chairperson's management report, especially COVID and even post-COVID. It is not a joke, but the economy has not been what? Simple. And it puts pressure. But to see that the executive that we have also requested to extend service, and yourselves have agreed to this, is a sign of the commitment you have as individuals and as a collective team of members of the accountancy profession. And this is very important social capital that we acknowledge. Regional networks were constituted out of the need for us to promote our profession and grow it geographically. It was the desire of members of the Institute and the Council back then, and it remains the desire to encourage us to have this spirit of self-mobilization. Self-mobilization of two critical resources that shall drive us. Mobilization of that resource called human capital. For us to grow, and I'm very happy what I've seen here on a personal note. For me, teaching is a calling. To see that within our midst we have active students. So to the CPAs, one of the key roles we have is to mobilize that human capital, which is ourselves who are already there, CPAs, and these colleagues of ours who are students, to begin participating and continue participating in these events and our networking. The second key resource, it has never been freely available, it has never been enough, it will always be controversial amounts, financial resources. We have got to continue to see how, when I say we, I mean we the Institute, and the Institute is us, how we mobilize financial resources. The third resource that the authors of previous literature never thought about, but these days has become critical, is that resource called social capital. Many of the challenges we are facing here is because we don't take advantage of the phone contact you have, or the email address you have, or the name of a certain face. James, just before we went for lunch, came to me as we were wrapping up and said, now I've remembered where I saw you. I now clearly remember. It was at MAT. You were at my lecture at what? At MAT.
Yeah.
Then my brain told me that as soon as James got the opportunity to speak, he recognized in his presence a certain person he called his senior, where he did internship. Then he recognized those he worked with in Amuru. And James here, from what I have seen, he supports critical decisions where he is, including placements. Some of the things that we really desire for some of our people might be in the hands of what? Of James. How would I have known if I had not come to what? To Kirkuk. That is that resource called social capital. The networks, the desire is for us to be able to enhance it and take advantage of it, so that we can continuously promote, and I choose my words carefully. I am passionate about the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, but what we should reach out there to promote is not simply ICPAU, but the accountancy profession, for which it is our mandate in Uganda to do what? To promote. So we need to promote it both locally and internationally, to reclaim our space both here and beyond. There are some general expectations that as members and as the executive function we have, and these are spelled out in the Constitution as expectations. The first one is growth of the network. We need to work hand in hand to see that we grow the numbers in the network. Let's reach out for those colleagues who have completed the CPA and whether they have attained membership or not. If they have attained, we need to continue interacting. If they have not attained membership, to see how we can help them appreciate the importance of membership and then achieve attaining the what? The membership. Then we have the second category of students. We have the continuing students. Encourage them to see to it that they complete and travel the journey of student, then associate, then full members. But there's another very important constituency, which is a strategic risk for us in growing our profession. Those who are tempted, found challenges along the way, and gave up. They are strategically important because most times they are the communication channel of the information that is a misrepresentation about us. That it is impossible to complete what? The CPA. That the CPA is not worth the effort. That the CPA, it is for those people who are complicated. Those ones will even tell their sisters that never get married to a CPA accountant. If you ask him for money for the market, he will ask you for receipts. We need to reach out for that community also and encourage them to come back in the what? In the fold. Yeah. Then, through the network, we expect periodic initiatives geared towards promoting the profession in the community and supporting members. The profession should not stop within the district offices, within the Kampala, no, but actually within also our community. Because we are thought leaders, and our thought leadership should not remain just within ourselves. There are so many other areas that we can play a very supportive role that gives relevance to the profession, relevance to us in our individual capacity, but also to the socio-economic environment. I'll just give you an example. Where I come from, or where my parents were born, in Namutumba, we're one of those areas that suffers the most from malaria, because ours is a swampy environment. And one of the interventions of managing malaria is to spray the insecticides in the what? In the house. And government comes out with those initiatives. But the level of resistance within our communities was so high, where you would have the uneducated come and tell our people and say, how, you want them to spray your house? The moment you spray, just be sure that is the last time you'll ever give birth to children. And for us, Basoga, if you're telling us to stop producing children, we are really making a very big threat. But when some of us go and speak to our uncles and tell them, look here, the choice is between the children you have continuing to live or die from malaria, or you refusing spraying, they listen. So as thought leaders, we need to show our relevance in the what? In the communities. Not only about the accountancy profession, but also other areas that make us relevant. Because we have the knowledge and we have the exposure. Enhanced efforts towards supporting the student community. The needs vary, the needs of the student community vary from one area to another. I've had the opportunity to interact with 2 other regional networks. And the interesting thing is both of them were driven by something I see here, by also a need to provide support to the students. The West Nile region, the initial executive membership were running a what? A college. The same applies to Western region. The only thing along the way is if those initiatives are relying on the individuals and not the what? The system. From what we have heard from one another today, we have an opportunity in Acholi sub-region. Perhaps the network can take the initiative of working out a structure. I choose my words carefully. I'm avoiding the word school or center, but a structure that takes on the challenge of providing tuition to the student community in what? The Acholi sub-region. You already have 2 critical resources in that area. The first one, which everyone who has studied something usually has, the knowledge from the books. But there is a second one that is very, very important, that makes good lecturers sometimes, the experience of failure. I don't know if amongst those who are calling, who are saying, who are CPAs, if there is anyone who never failed a paper. We all have good stories.
Baptism of fire at first.
Let me share this one. Mine was 2002. The paper is known as MDC. I actually attended the class, almost all the lectures I did not miss. I waited for the exam. By that year we were sitting in Didi's world. I entered the exam, paid the start, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I accepted that it would be wasted effort even to remain there. The regulation say you need to wait for what? 1 hour. So I continued drawing my small pictures. After 1 hour elapsed, the support will come. Now can you give me the attendance register? I sign and go out and say, you're going out. It's not yet time. I said, I know the regulations. I've been waiting for what? And by then the number of students were not so many. Everyone doing a paper that day, we were all in this world. So after I have finished that discussion, they allowed me to go out. Walk out. Everyone turning, looking at me. As I'm almost exiting, who do I meet? It's a true story, we are both here. Someone asks me, what is it, Ronald? What has happened? I tell him, Simon, I don't know, but I went to what? To class. But he was very supportive. He guided me and told me, okay, now for that paper, you need to go and buy a book called Drury. Read it, page by page, internalize, try all the exercises in there, do a self-drive. It was December sitting. I started reading my MDC in December, actually. Yeah, it was 2002, December sitting. Research in June. And thanks to him, I actually was the prize what? Winner. And because in December I was a laughing stock, and in June I had passed as a prize winner, that triggered my journey of becoming a lecturer. People who were struggling with it, colleagues came to me saying, how did you go about this? What did you do? Can we do discussion what? Groups. Experience. Someone asked about the school where they teach what? Experience. Experience is falling down 6 times and rising up 7 times. So those experiences is what we need to share with our colleagues, the students. And then also take them through the tutorials. And you never know, out of those efforts, there's a gentleman here who knows an entity called Strathmore. I trust you to visit it. Out of those efforts, we could have the Strathmore of Uganda located in the Acholi sub-region. Because there's a lot of professional experience here that can be shared. And we drive the student numbers. Then, another one, the expectation and attention, being thought through, to see how it can be implemented. Getting the regional networks to provide advice and secretarial support to the regional members. One of the key expectations of having regional networks is there is absolutely no reason why someone should board a bus from Kitgum to go to Kampala to simply hand in a piece of paper or pick a piece of paper. That could be done in the sub-region and other activities like that, similar to that. And also guidance. Some of the questions we're asking ourselves, if the network grows, those are questions that regional network members would be rich with the information, and they can then freely share that information. And most importantly, the network should be able to handle in collaboration with the center the day-to-day affairs and activities of the regional network and its membership. Yes, we have these expectations, but we also appreciate the gaps. We have already noted the stagnant growth of the network. We see the developments are between now and February. We shall have turned around many things, and February should be a good month. I look forward to the opportunity, by God's grace, to join you. And also, we appreciate another gap that we need to work on. We all have this copy now of limited appreciation of the guidelines of the network as stipulated in the Constitution. Now, as I wrap up, I want to re-emphasize the importance of the network to all of us at a personal level. One, like I've said repeatedly, I want to keep on repeating and rubbing it in, It is an opportunity to network and serve the profession. There is fulfillment in service. 2, the future requires that we have events beyond Kampala. So we need to look into the future and see, in the near future, not the far future, that we should be able to also host events in the regional network where people from Kampala and beyond come and attend the events here. As an example, the public financial management workshops. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying it's a decision that I'm going to take. Could be rotational in the what? In the regional networks. Just as an example. I'm not saying that is what must be done or has been done. Then also, within our networks, let us create and share opportunities. One opportunity we have spoken about is opportunities for the students, opportunities to teach. I'm seeing many of us, this morning as we were having our showers, we forgot to rinse out the soap in our heads. Now that amnesia of forgetting to remove the soap also rings a certain bell. Eh? That very soon you'll also start thinking of something else you need to be what? Doing. Eh? Between 8 and what? And late evening. Eh? Now, if you have been surviving, living most of your life, spending time using knowledge, the fulfillment you will always have is giving what? Knowledge. We should perhaps start planning on, I don't like to call it retirement, how to transition into consulting, thought leadership, by creating opportunities. It could be an accountancy practice. There's nothing that stops those for whom the regulations do not, permit from having an accountancy practice of 10 people that is known for being the key point for tax advisory, key point for other professional services beyond audit and assurance. Then, it is also important for us to remind ourselves that the amount of time and effort we invested in the CPA was actually a lifetime investment. We need to look forward to reaping the benefits of being a CPA throughout our lives. But there is one risk that can take that away from us: ethical behavior. And ethics is about how the others perceive you to be based on what you do and what you say. Let's have honor amongst ourselves and within the society. The society, because we work in public interest, wants to trust us. Let us be worth trust. Madam Chairperson and your team, the Council and Secretariat proposes the following to be considered as a priority for this Acholi sub-region. One, let's please work together to craft strategies geared towards attracting more members into the network. Let's work together to craft strategies on how to get more members into our network. Two, let's prepare and submit viable annual work plans early enough. So timely preparation and submission of the network work plans. Three, we need to identify cause, C-A-U-S-E. We need to identify while at the same time causing and also taking on. So identify, cause, and take on social initiatives that promote the accountancy profession. Social initiatives that promote the accountancy profession. As an example, where we have an opportunity to present a paper to non-accountants, let's do it and identify ourselves as accountants. Let's be thought leaders. Let's have our presence in our communities, in the churches, in the mosques, wherever. I was going to mention the other grouping, but I have not seen it today. I don't know whether it was very early, but being a Saturday, I'd expected some people sitting in a circle with a very big pot. But there might be an arrangement out there. Okay. So with those few remarks, CPS, our students, members, friends, colleagues, I take this opportunity to thank you for your commitment and presence at this event. And I'm honored with the opportunity to call this meeting to a close. Thank you very much.
3, 2, 1.
Buena.